Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of T-Dog RC. And in this episode we are taking a look at an EDF, a foam EDF. So it's a little while since I did a foam EDF. In fact, the only foam EDF I've currently got is this Hawk that you might be able to see up here. So we're going to be having a look at this, which is the Flycat from H-King. Had this one for a little while up in the loft, probably had it for a couple of years, but it's just been in storage basically, but I decided to dig it out. I really am a big fan of twin boom jet aircraft. I think they look superb, things like the Vampire, Sea Vixen, all that sort of stuff, really like them. So really like the look of this one. Looks super fast, it's 6S, so it's going to have some power, really simple, no undercarriage or anything like that, so it's just a hand launch and belly land, so it should be a lot of fun. So in this video we'll have a look what we get in the box and start some assembly as well. So let's get it on the bench and let's take a look. Right then, let's have a look what we've got. So go through the specifications. It's just over 1 meter wingspan, so it's 104 centimeter wingspan and 110 centimeter fuselage. Takes a 4000 milliamp 6S is what they recommend. Actually comes with an 80 amp ESC, which is good, 3048 motor, 2000 kV, and it has got a 12 blade 70mm fan. Now some of the videos I've seen of this flying, the EDF seems quite noisy. It's got quite a whine to it. Not quite sure why that is. I don't know whether they're, you know, some sort of cheap EDF, but depending on how it goes, I'll do the maiden as it is, but if I really like it and everything and, you know, want to keep it, then I'll consider maybe changing the fan for something like an FMS fan or something like that sounds a bit nicer, but you never know, this one might be okay. So let's have a look. So nice bright colours. They probably don't pick up as much on the camera as they do in real life, but they're really nice. The pink really stands out. And like I say, I've had this in my loft for a couple of years really, so let's hope it's still okay. It should be, but yeah, really nice little wing there. Really nice smooth glossy foam as well, so very slippery, which is good. Spars already in there. Servos already installed, the Metal Gear servos, and it's got ball joints there as well, which is nice. So a couple of wings. Then we've got the tail plane. So this obviously goes between the two booms. So again, very nice ball joint again, servo pre-installed, so that's all good. And these are quite nice as well, the horns, because they've got the plastic doubler on the other side, and they're actually bolted in. Yeah, so they've got two screws there rather than just being glued in, so that's nice. And assuming these have obviously been flexed before they've put the servo on, because you can't do that yourself, so hopefully the hinge is okay. It is a foam hinge, which is never ideal, but we'll see how we go with that. So let's have a look then. Let's get this fuselage out, which is an absolute beast, because it's the fuselage and sort of the mid section as well of the wings. So there we have it. Very cool looking thing, I think. I really like the look of it. I think it looks very fast, and I'm sure it will be with 6S. Looks like you can. Yeah, I do seem to remember seeing this actually. I think you can fit your own retract, so they have left some slots here for you to put your own retracts in, and nose one as well there. And in fact, I think that's probably why that's slightly broken, because I think when I very first got this, I tried to have a look and see about putting a nose wheel in there, but then it went in the loft. But I'm actually not going to bother, because I'm just going to hand launch it, and I think it'll be fine. So what I'll probably do is put some tape along here, unless there's, yeah, I don't think there's anything supplied to go under there, so I'll just put some tape on there to protect that. The foam is really sort of slippery. It's almost like it's got the release coat on it, so that's quite nice. And then the decals, these look like proper decals as opposed to just stickers. They're really nice and thin and well applied, so that's good. So then if we take that off, that's just a magnetic hatch. Everything's labelled up inside, which is nice. I mean, it's very simple, basically just elevator, aileron and throttle. And then we've got a nice big chunky XT90 connector there, which is great. And then you've got the aluminium tubes there. And of course, see if you can see in there, sort of, we've got the 12 blade 70mm fan ready to go. So that is very cool. Just put that to one side. And then we've just got these tail booms. I'll just get one out for now. So we can have a look at it. Pretty straightforward really, nothing to that. Obviously the wings just slot through there, so you must have to put these on the wings before you fasten it all together. It does have some skids on the bottom there as well, so at least it has those. And that's pretty much it, apart from the little goodie bag we get, which has got some strange foam pieces in. Don't know whether they're to cover the servo. There might be to cover the servo holes if you want to. No, don't know what they're for actually. Maybe I'll find out. There might be some sort of locking mechanism, and it looks like there's more sort of little ply locking tabs, a couple of screws, and some more sort of skid plates, and that's it. So no instructions as per typical Hobby King models. Got to download them from the website, which is fine. I'll just show you what receiver I'm going to be putting in this. So I'm using this Free Sky S6R. So this has got stabilisation built into it. I think I will probably set the stabilisation up, especially with it being a hand launch. I think that would be quite handy to have that option ready to go. So yeah, that's I've used that in another model, can't remember which one, but I'll be reusing it for this one. So let's get the manual downloaded and start the assembly. Right then, had a quick look at the instructions, and first job is we've got to get this open, and these plywood tabs. So I found out what these are for as well, by the way. They go in these bits here once we put these plywood pieces in place. So we've got to get these plywood tabs, which are the wing locking system, glue those in place like that. So 2 on each side. And then once we've got those glued in place, we then use these foam inserts and then just fit those into the relevant hole to cover those up. So that's the first job. I'm going to be using foam tack to do this, which is my preferred glue for gluing with foam. So I am going to crack on with that, and I shall show you the results. Okay, so I've got the plywood tabs glued into place. So I've used a combination of foam tack for the actual plywood, and then I've just used some hot glue just to get these foam tabs glued in. So next job now is to start putting the booms on. You have to put this left hand boom on because this one doesn't have any, there's no channels in it for the elevator lead, just the actual elevator itself there. So this one goes in first, and basically these just slot into place like that. It'll only go so far because it's kind of it's got a stopper this at the front here. So I think again I'm going to use foam tack to get those in place, and then for the other side, so this one has this channel, and basically all you have to make sure is that when you put this one on, you feed the elevator cable or lead should I say, through here. So you need to just make sure you've got that in the right position before you actually put this one on. So I'm going to start by getting this one on. So just going to use some foam tack again. I think for that will be the best thing. And then what I've got to do is then obviously feed the elevator lead into here. It does actually say to glue it in place, but I might just wedge it in there, but we'll see. And maybe just put a little bit of tape over it, just to stop it from coming out. And then the connector goes there, and then there's a little plate you can put on there just to cover that up. So let's get that done. Okay, so the booms are on, and I've fed the cable, the elevator cable in. As you can see, that goes along the boom and up there to that slot. And I've just used some Blenderm tape rather than gluing that into place. I think that's just a little bit neater, and if I ever need to, I can get it out as well. So next job is just to get this elevator glued in place. That just slots in there and glues in. So again, I'm just going to use some foam tack. So I'm just going to fill these bits with foam tack and get that in. Okay, that's looking good. It's actually quite a beast on the bench. Now I've got these booms on. It's quite mad that it is just a hand launch, but should be good. So what I need to do now is just connect the elevator lead, and then we've just got this little hatch to put on, which just sort of covers this over. I'm not sure what to stick that on with really. I might actually rough that up a little bit as well before I stick that on, because that's very shiny. And then I think just use a little bit of foam tack on there. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do before I glue that little cover in place is I am just going to get the servo tester on this elevator and just make sure it's working, because that would be a problem. Okay, that's working nicely there, so I'm happy with that. So we can glue that cover in place now. So I'll just get that roughened up and glued on. Okay, well that's it really, more or less, in terms of the actual fiddly bits. Just got to get the wings screwed into place. I've just test fitted them. They are pretty tight, but should go on with a bit of a shove. And then obviously just got to get it set up on my radio. So I'll get the wings fitted and then show you just setting up the radio gear, because I've got so I'll show you where I put the receiver and everything, because like I said at the start, I've got this S6R that I want to get configured and set up for it. Well, there we are. There's the 6 beeps, 6S. Got it all set up on the Radio Master. So using the S6R receiver, so I've got normal mode, and obviously got everything hooked up, elevator and ailerons. I've got stabilized mode, a wind rejection mode, which is the one I'm probably going to use most often. So this just adds a bit of stability if it's windy, and I've got that set up as well, so I can adjust the gain, so I can turn it off completely, or by default have it set to about 50%. And then the other mode it's got on the S6R is this auto mode, which will automatically stabilize it, or level it should I say, which I probably won't use very much. The only time I might use that is maybe the first time I launch it, but I don't think I will. But it's there if I need it, obviously. The other thing I've got is this switch as well. If I flick that forward, that will also put it into that auto level mode. So that's kind of a panic switch. You flick that and it will auto level it for you. So that's quite handy to have, especially since this is going to be pretty fast. I've actually got the fail-safe set up as well, so it switches the throttle off and puts it into that auto level mode. So, you know, if I do lose signal, you never know, it might actually try and land it flat. But yeah, all done, all ready to go. I've checked the CG. The 6S battery has to go right up into the nose. I've not put it in properly at the minute because I've just got some non-slip mat which is just drying at the minute with some contact adhesive. But yeah, when I go to put the battery in, it's got to be all the way forward, and that puts it just nicely nose heavy. So really looking forward to maiden in this one. It's going to be a bit of a beast. It's got plenty of power, so it's going to be exciting. So if you want to watch that, then hit the subscribe button and you'll get notified when I do the maiden and do that video. If you haven't subscribed and you're into fixed wing RC, you're into EDF, balsa, nitro, a little bit of FPV, then please help me out by hitting the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. And thank you for everyone who's subscribed already. It's great to have your support. And if you've enjoyed the video, then you can also help me out by giving me a thumbs up and hitting that like button. I'd really appreciate that. Yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and well, we'll see you soon for the maiden of the Flycat.